What's up, guys? Back again for some more One Piece action. Today we got my live reaction to One Piece chapter 1098. If you guys follow the channel, I wasn't able to drop a video for last week's chapter, but in the chapter we had the formation of the Revolutionary Army. We saw how Kuma got linked up with Dragon and Ivankov again. We saw how Ginny kind of joined forces. We saw the things that kind of went down in the Sorbet Kingdom. We saw how Kuma was using his newfound powers and kind of taking out all the pain from the old people and kind of taking that into himself so that they could, come up with the money for the heavenly tribute. And then, we saw the king. He was trying to, get rid of them essentially, like cut the kingdom in half so he wasn't responsible for, their portion of the heavenly tribute. They fought back, Dragon them showed up, freed Kuma, then they joined the Revolutionary Army. And then right at the end of the chapter, we saw Ginny, who, had asked Kuma at one point to like marry her. We saw her, she was getting all excited, ready for Kuma to come and, link up with them the next day. And then all of a sudden we see Dragon getting a message saying Ginny's been captured. So let's see what happens in this chapter. Where you guys think we're going? Are we gonna find out what happened to Ginny, who captured her? Chapter is entitled The Birth of Bonney. So I'm guessing we're gonna find out where Ginny is, get her back, and then kind of see, what happens between Kuma and Ginny that eventually leads to the birth of Bonney. But let's check it out. So starting off, looks like we got Soul King Brook right here. It says Brook powering his electric guitar solo with an electric eel. All right, so that's pretty cool. Brook jamming out, but let's jump into this chapter. All right. Revolutionary Army HQ in Baltigo. All right, it says the expanding tides of revolution. Okay, so what do we got? It says requesting backup. The tomb uprising in the South Blue is looking great, or is looking bleak. It says the Toomey uprising. We can't. Our hands are full dealing with the wounded at Goa. Eva-chan. Okay, so seems like all hell is kind of breaking loose right now. If they're at the Goa Kingdom, I'm guessing that's kind of back when Dragon and Ivankov showed up. We saw Sabo get taken out. When Sabo, Ace, and Luffy were still children. Sabo gets taken out by an incoming celestial dragon, and then we see Dragon swoop in and save them. We kind of saw Dragon them also intercede with that whole Blue Jam, the pirate that was in the Goa Kingdom. But anyways, what do we got? So we got Kuma right here. He's like, "I'll go. Don't be rash, Kuma. You've been acting reckless ever since that day." All right, I'm guessing the day that they're referring to is the day that Ginny was captured. So, Kuma probably excited to go meet up with her and then finding out she was captured. Like, that probably pissed him off. And he's like, "What the? This guy's huge. Where did you come from? State your name." All right, so people, obviously normal people don't know that he's a part of the Buccaneer tribe and a leftover. But then what do we got? Okay, so it says Genie's been captured, and it's kind of like, almost like a flashback picture of Genie smiling, and then you see Kuma's face, and he's just pissed. Like, usually we don't see this much emotion on Kuma's face, but man, he just looks so angry in it. Yes, sir. It seems she caught the eye of a celestial dragon. Oh, damn. Okay, so Ginny being captured because she caught the eye of a celestial dragon. Is that what it sounds like? Says they took her on a government ship because the celestial dragon wanted to make her his bride. Damn. Okay. First thing, what do you guys think about this? Like, I thought, a celestial dragon, yeah, maybe capturing Ginny and wanting her and, maybe taking her as a slave or, even potentially a concubine, that would make sense. But to want, a commoner for his wife, that just seems a little out of place. I mean, I know they can do what they want, being that they're, celestial dragons, they're the gods of this world and everything. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you guys that seems a little out of character for a celestial dragon. I mean, I know Ginny's pretty, but still, she's a commoner. But let's see. We won! Finally, after 3 years of struggling, we couldn't have done it without the Revolutionary Army. All right, so we see them, all these guys that were fighting back against this oppression, a 3 year war, and they just won. They're all stoked. They're like, "Oh, the Revolutionary Army." But then what is this? The enemy took us by surprise. It was the Revolutionary Army again. All right, so there's a Den Den Mushi crying, and it says, "Here's to the Revolutionary Army, the heroes of the people." And then we see the Revolutionary Army flag, furling in the wind right there. All right, please forgive us, Dragon. It's me. I've worn myself out. I'll have to return by ship. All right, so I'm guessing he can't use his power to like smack himself and send him back to Baltigo. It says, "We're so sorry." And then we see this like flashback. We see Kuma kind of standing on the ship, and it says, around 2 years have passed since Commander Ginny of the Revolutionary Army was kidnapped to be wed to a celestial dragon. All right, so I guess they are legit getting married. Like this celestial dragon saw someone, he didn't care who she was, that was gonna be his bride. So they captured Ginny, and it says, wait, we're nearly there, Bonney. Wait, oh, I'm so confused right now. Okay, hold on. Okay, Kuma, it's Ginny. She's on the line right now. What? Hey, Kumachi, I finally made it back to the surface. Ginny, okay, guys, I'm like so confused at what's going on right here. We're already mentioning Bonnie. Now it seems like they're talking to Ginny after she's been captured. Like, what the hell is going on? Even them, they kind of look like, wait, what? It says, hey, Kumachi, I finally made it back to the surface. Ginny, they didn't want me around after I got sick. I was thrown away. Damn. Okay, so they just, straight up discarded her. And then we see Kuma. He's like, wait, what? You're sick? Says, what a stroke of luck. He's like, I wanted to see everyone one last time, but this call, Ginny's not gonna make it back, but this call will have to be our goodbye. And then you see Ivankov. He's like, what? All right, what do you guys think is happening? What kind of disease? Like, are we about to find out about Bonnie? What's going on? And said, we see Kuma. He's like, what are you talking about, Ginny? Where are you? I can be there in an instant. I was afraid I'd never see you again. He's like, yo, just tell me where you're at. I will send myself. Like, God, you guys got to feel this man's pain right now. Like, he finally gets in contact with the woman that he loves. And now she's like, I'm sorry, I wanted to see you again, but that ain't going to happen. So this phone call is going to have to do for you. Like, I'll never see you again, but at least you got to talk to me, right? You know, okay, consolation prize, but he's like, yo, I can go anywhere. Like, I have the power. Just tell me where you're at, and I'll be there in an instant. So, you just got to feel bad for him. And then she's like, Kumachi, sorry, but I'm at death's door. All right, did she really get thrown away, or did she escape? Like, did she find a way to break out and, like, she's just injured or something? And then, okay, they're like, I'm glad you care about me, really, but you shouldn't come when I'm like this. I feel like they're trying to hide something from, or not there. Ginny is trying to prevent Kuma from seeing something, or like, angering him because he's going to see the condition that she's in, and she's going to know, like, he's going to go on the warpath. Like, Buccaneer is about to come out and just lay a smackdown. And then what do we got? It says, Dragon, big bro, Kumachi has a big heart. Please take care of him for me. All right, so Ginny asking Dragon to look after, the man that she loves. And then we see Ivankov still over there, like, hey, what about your brother? And then it says, get out of the way. There's only one place she'd go now. All right, so wherever they're going, do you think she went back to the Sorbet Kingdom? Or, because, I'm guessing they're in Baltigo right now since it's Dragon and, the officers of the Revolutionary Army. And then all of a sudden, okay, it looks like Kuma, wherever he went, he ran out and just sent himself off to wherever he figured out she'd be. And it says, and Kumachi, I just want you to know I love you. Always have, always will. And then it hangs up. Damn. Okay, so, I didn't even think Kuma actually heard the tail end of that. Like, he figured out where she was and he just darted out. He's like, no, I got to go now. Like, it hit me. I know where she's at. What are you guys thinking? So it looks like she's back at, from where this conversation was kind of finishing out. It looks like we're back at the church in the Sorbet Kingdom. And then it says, Kuma, you're back. Where's Ginny? She's here, right? Like, Kuma's like, yo, don't even play games with me. Where's my woman right now? And then it says, she is, but I'm afraid it happened when she was exposed to natural light. Her face, her entire body. Oh my God, like, what the hell? Her skin is all like marked up, and I don't even know how to describe it. It says it turned all blue in the sun and her skin hardened like stone. Okay. Wait, that's kind of weird. Like, I almost like she looks like a mummy now, I'm guessing. Like, when like they kind of dried out and their skin kind of turned a weird color. And then, okay, we see the flashback. He's thinking of like kind of back when he first met her, and she's like, Kumachi. And then it goes forward to her, you know, what's left of her. And then we see again a flashback. She's crying. Like, what could have done this to her? Okay, what are you guys thinking? What do you guys think did this to her? Was this, one of the Gorosei's power? Was this a random devil fruit power? Like, what could have possibly done this to her? And says, "Hey, Kumachi, let's get married." And he says, "Wouldn't it make you happy?" And we see Kuma like tears just pouring down his face right now, and he's just hugging the leftover remains of her. And says she burned up her remaining time exposing herself to the sun so she could cross the ocean and make it home to us. All right, so whatever condition she had, I guess it really was a condition or something afflicted her, whether it was natural or imposed upon her by, a devil fruit. Let me know what you guys are thinking in the comments. But whatever it was, she braved going across the open sea to make it back to the Sorbet Kingdom. And then it says because she wanted to ensure her baby safety. Okay, so that must be why we mentioned Bonney earlier in the chapter. That was actually Ginny going back on the ship across the ocean back to the Sorbet Kingdom, and she must have had Bonney in her arms. And then okay, we see this baby and she's crying. And then it says, "You can rest now, Ginny. I swear I'll raise her well." Okay, wait, hold on. Before we even go, does that mean that Bonney is technically a celestial dragon and not Kuma's child because she's been captured for years, right? And then she just escaped. We know she was married to a celestial dragon, so it's not really, a stretch to think of the things that he would have done to his wife and, procreated, had a child and all that. But I'm guessing Ginny didn't want her child to grow up a messed up celestial dragon, so she braved, whatever condition or whatever they did to her that would have prevented her from leaving. She still made it out, made it back to the Sorbet Kingdom, and got her baby out of there. And Kuma's over here like, "Oh, I'll raise her well." So maybe that's the memory Kuma was trying to hide from Bonney when Vegapunk took all of his emotions out and everything and all his memories out and he was turned into the human pacifista weapon. Maybe that was one of the memories that he didn't want Bonney to see was the fact that she's not actually his biological daughter. She's just the daughter of the woman that he loved. But and then what do we got? It says that's all wrong. Okay, so now we're going to, looks like we're jumping forward a little bit, and we see Kuma, doing his best. This big burly dude. He's trying to take care of literally this little tiny baby that like fits into the palm of his hand. We see him there, trying to hold this bottle, and he's feeding Ginny. He's like, "You're tilting the bottle too much." Bonnie-chan still looks uncomfortable. "I'll show you how it's done." And then, okay, so all the old people are trying to give, Kuma all these little tips and everything. They're like, "Oh, she's so cute." And if you're gonna be sleeping next to her, make sure her cot is like an iron cage. All right. So they're like, "Yo, we don't want you rolling over with your big ass and smashing her." Yeah, literally, we can't have you smashing her in your sleep with that massive body. And then Kuma, you can see the little beads of sweat. He's like, Is this correct?" Like, "Oh, damn, I'm messing it up." And then, okay, so we see Bonnie. She's just drinking on this bottle right there and says, "Oh, you're quite the heavy drinker, Bonnie-chan." Okay, so we know she inherited that from Ginny. I'm sure you'll be just as much of a glutton as Ginny was, calling it right there. And then we see the flashback of when Ginny, Ginny the glutton, she's like, "I'm still hungry." And, that little memory right there, like, brings a tear to Kuma's eye, makes him remember Ginny. He's all happy. And then what do we got? Oh, damn. Okay, so this must be like one of the first times that Bonnie called Kuma daddy, and we see Kuma, and I mean, bro, he's just losing his shit, like just crying. He's so happy right now. And then we see Bonnie. She's like, looks like the apple of everybody's eye. All these old people that live in, the southern half of the Sorbet Kingdom, the place that Kuma and Ginny, kind of grew up and helped all these people out. Like them seeing Bonnie being Ginny's daughter, like I said, she is the apple of their eye. Same thing for Kuma. You could tell like that is Kuma's world. We see Bonnie, she's over there eating. We see her, looks like Obachan's, carrying her around right there. And then, okay, so we see Kuma, looks like he's jumping back in. And, he's got this massive, paw that he made, this energy blast, it looks like. All right, what do we got? Then we go back and we see Kuma giving Bonnie a bath. Kuma and Bonnie taking a little bath. And then it flashes forward again. It looks like we see Kuma, in the midst of battle right there with the Revolutionary Army. I think that's kind of, I think that's supposed to be Dragon underneath them. It looks like this is a little bit rough sketch still. Looks like it hasn't been cleaned up, but that's okay. Okay, and then we go back. We see Kuma, and he did exactly what all the old people told him. Like he built this cage to put over Bonnie when she's sleeping next to him. He's got his arm on the cage. That way he doesn't roll over on her. And yo, there we go. We got Sabo coming back. So this is, like I said, this is after the stuff that happened in the Gold Kingdom. Dragon rescued Sabo after he was attacked by the Celestial Dragon, and now we see it looks like Sabo is training with Kuma, and this says Kuma. Okay, what do we got? It says, "What in the world are you doing? You've boarded up all of the church's windows." Okay, what's going on? Something crazy. Like this would have made more sense, back when Ginny was alive, because apparently, the sunlight was what did that to her body, is what they made it seem like, right? But Ginny's been dead and gone for a long time now. So why are the windows boarded up? And then what's going on? Okay, Kuma's got this real stern look on his face in this panel, and he's like, close the door. And then what do we got? It says, take a look here below her. Oh damn! Does she have whatever Ginny was a Bonnie? Does she have whatever Ginny was afflicted with? And they're like, you see these little dots underneath, Bonnie's eyes. They're like, is that a blue stone? Okay, like oh, what's going on? And they're like, hey, isn't that? It looks just like what Ginny had at the end. Okay, so Kuma's not even remotely taking any chances. He has everything boarded up. Like she's got this one little, couple little specks under her eye, and Kuma's like, nope, we are not exposing her to the sun. And everyone's like, okay, I'll call a doctor. Let's go. Thank you. And then what do we got? Okay, so this old man, Gigi, he's like, it's caused by sunlight, you say. Are you sure? Why don't we try taking her outside? He's like, see, he something's not adding up. He's like, should we take her outside? And he's like, are you insane? Like, I just told you her mother died from this. And then what do we got? It says, it doesn't seem to be white lead poisoning, so not what happened, what was that, Flavins, where Law was from? I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with this condition. All right, so whatever she has, it seems to be stumping, different doctors. We got an old man, we got this old lady. And then what do we have? Okay, so it looks like we got Dragon and Ivankov talking to him. He's like, you're quitting the Revolutionary Army? What? Bonnie's contracted the same disease her mother had? Yes. All right. So I'm guessing, they're gonna understand, like, okay, your daughter, your daughter, is sick. I can understand being why you're leaving the Revolutionary Army. And then Kuma's like, I don't know if it's the right thing to do, but I have to stay by her side, So definitely honorable intentions, definitely no sign of cowardice. That's not why he's leaving. He's not giving up the fight. It's just that he feels he needs to be with Bonnie right now. And then we see Dragon kind of looking on. He's like, I understand it's important to live without regrets. We can use our contacts to reach out to doctors all over the world for her. I owe you, Dragon. All right. So even though, it seems like they're about to part ways, Dragon's like, nope, I totally understand why you got to do what you got to do. Live your life without regrets. And then it says, okay, so it looks like we're going and seeing when Bonnie gets a little bit bigger. It says 7 years ago when Bonnie was 5. All right, she just looks like a demon chasing these kids around. These kids are like, these boys are running away, sniffing. Maybe she beat the crap out of them or something. And then it says, oh, they're making fun of her. They're like, the vampire's gonna eat us. Oh, that's so cold. Yo! And she's like, and stay out, you twerp. She starts flicking them off. Hell yeah. That's what's up, Oda. I hope they make this into a statue. I need this little Bonnie being like that. And then they're like, ha, this is as far as you can go, right? Okay, so I guess they broke into the church, since it's all boarded up. And then they're like, I dare you to take a step out of here, you ugly vampire. Damn, that's cool. They're like holding the cross up to her, the crucifix, like, she about to burst in the flames. And says, eat this. Bet the holy cross is your weakness. Look at it shine. Oh, I would just love if she walked up, grabbed it, and smacked him across the face with it or something. And then we're like, we're in a church, you dummy. Like, you really think I'm a vampire and, afraid of crucifixes when I live in a church? And we just see her just drop kick him right in the side of the face. Hell yeah. And she's like, I'll show you who's boss. I'm coming after you. And she like, coming out. And they're all like, oh my God, Bonnie, stop. And then, okay, we see Kuma in the next panel, grabbing her hand. He's like, Bonnie, please, you can't go outside. Even standing near the doorway can give you the ouchies. All right, so Kuma, this overprotective dad right now. Seems like they still might not know exactly what she has. He's like, I know you're such a warrior, dad. I was just kidding. She's like, come on, I'm just playing with them. And he's like, please don't even joke about it. Okay. I hate it when you get all sad and worried, anyways. All right. She's like, okay, okay, I'm not going. Don't get all mopey. And then, of course, he gets all sentimental and he like scoops her up and he's like, oh, you're such a good kid. And she's like, oh my God, dad, stop being such a crybaby. You're smothering me. All right. So, nice little fun father daughter relationship they got right there. And then she's sitting at the table and she's like, those jerks. They made fun of my face stones again. And then what do we got? It says, are they really that weird? It's not like I can help them. I didn't ask to get sick. And we see her, she's like, messing with them right there. And oh, okay, this is where her name was come from. He's like, oh, you mean your jewels? Ooh, because you've got such pretty jewelry. They're just jealous. And then she's like, she gets all happy now. She's like, oh, is that what it is? They're just jealous because I got all these pretty jewels on my face. You betcha. I love them. All right, so a nice little spin and flip that Kuma put on that, thing that could potentially, end her life, but to not make her worry, especially because she's a child, and because everyone's always making fun of her, or all these kids are messing with her. He kind of flips it and spins it and makes it seem kind of like a cool thing, like, oh, you got jewelry on your face. That's why they're jealous of you. But anyways, what do we got? So we see Kuma. Looks like he's playing with Bonnie. Says, "Hey Bonnie, if you were to go on a trip, where would you like to go? For when you're better, I mean." And she's like, I know. Uh, have you heard about the legendary Sky Islands? Okay, so she wants to go see Skypea. And then she's like, there are islands way up in the air. That's right. I read about it in this book. Okay, that's pretty cool. And then what do we got? Okay. It's close to the sun, so maybe we'll see Nick. Damn. Okay, so this must be like a book from the Buccaneer people, I'm guessing, because it's mentioning Nika. Like it's a book that mentions Nika. So obviously something that the Gorosei and the world government wasn't able to suppress. And you love that, right, Daddy? And we see Kuma doing his little Nika dance over there in the background, getting all stoked and happy. And he's like, that sounds like a grand adventure. We can go there to have a big celebration for your 20th birthday. Where should we go for your 19th birthday? And then she's like, Fishman Island. Okay, so she's just naming off like all the cool, wild ass places, the island up in the sky, the city at the bottom of the ocean. Like, she's just going for all these extremes, talking about Nika. So, definitely a cool book, whatever book she's reading. And then it says, after examining your daughter, I've concluded that she suffers from sapphire scale. I'm afraid it's incurable. You know what it is? And sorry to ask, but can you please speak a bit quieter? All right, so we're getting the reveal of what is actually afflicting Bonnie. It's this thing called sapphire scale. So jewelry, sapphire makes sense. And it says, these days you almost never see it. Those stones grow exponentially when bathed in any form of natural light, like the sun or the moon. But even if you completely prevent any exposure, I'm afraid it's only a matter of time before the disease catches up with you. Damn, okay, so all they're doing is kind of, in the words of this doctor, just delaying the inevitable, If even if she doesn't get exposed to sunlight or to moonlight, eventually it's still gonna catch up, no matter what you do. Like this is a death sentence, is what he's making it seem like right now. But what do we got? It says, forgive me for being so blunt, but your daughter has another 5 years at best. Damn, okay, Kuma is not gonna like to see that. Maybe he can figure out a way to use his paw powers and push it out of her, or I don't even know if that's possible. It says it'll be a miracle if she reaches her 10th birthday. I'm afraid it's simply terminal, going by our current scientific understanding of it. Okay, wait, maybe this is where we're gonna meet up with Vegapunk and kind of see how he kind of, we know him and Dragon, meet up at some point. So maybe Vegapunk, being the smartest man in the world, maybe he'll be able to figure out something. And then Kuma's like, it'll be over by her 10th birthday. This isn't fair. She's already growing into such a strong woman. Is there really no cure? All right, now the question is, how much of this has Bonney overheard from inside of the church? Especially since Kuma asked the doctor to speak quieter, what do you guys think? And then all of a sudden, she pops out and she scares the crap out of Kuma and he falls backwards. And then, like, Kuma just looks terrified. He's like, that realization, like, oh my God, did you just hear the conversation we were having? He's like, Bonney, I thought you were asleep. And then she's like, nope, I heard it all. Like, just big old smile on her face. You said it'll be over by my 10th birthday, right? And then Kuma, is trying to hold back these tears right now. Your 10th? I have no idea what you're talking about. And then she's like, I heard you say it. Hey, are you crying? Is it something I said? He's like, yes. Yes, he said, when you're 10, it was about your illness, Bonney. That stupid doctor. He told me that your condition is going to continue as it is till you're 10. Huh? It's just such an appalling amount of time. I couldn't help but get down after that. That means I'll be better when I'm 10, right? So we can go on those trips. Isn't that right, Daddy? Oh no, what have I done? Okay, so he's like, oh my God, she's misinterpreting it, but now I've got her hopes up. Like, that's why she wasn't freaking out when she came in the door. She heard it and she thinks that it's gonna be over. Like, the disease will be over when she's 10, not that her life is gonna be over when she hits 10. And oh my God, like, what would you do if you're a parent and your kid like overheard something like that? Like, how do you end, like, be like, no, no, that's not what he meant. Like, he meant you're gonna die in 5 years when you're 10 years old. Like, how could you possibly explain that to your 5 year old daughter? And it says, of course, by the time you've turned 10, you'll be cured. Yippee! And he's like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? Like, I mean, I guess that means for the next 5 years, Kuma, like, your sole purpose in life, brother, is finding a doctor and finding a cure, or anything, like something that could work. And then it says, a familiar nightmare would soon descend on the kingdom of Sorbet. Only 1 year later, Kuma, you've got to save us. All right, so whatever's happening in the town, the people are coming. They're begging Kuma to save them. And then what do we got? It says, King Bakori has returned, and he's just as monstrous as ever. And then we see a question mark, and he's like, it's just like 16 years ago. He still wants to cut loose the country's dead weight. He's going to burn the people in their homes. All right, the never ending tragedy continues to unfold, and we see that look of concern on Kuma's face. He's like, what? Like, because again, if he's trying to call, the whole southern half of his country, that includes the church where he's currently living with his daughter Bonney. Kuma is not just gonna sit back and let someone come burn down the only place that he has to live with his daughter right now. So maybe this is why we're gonna see Kuma getting that name, the Tyrant. It's gonna get flipped on him when he takes over and kind of dethrones King Bakori, or becomes the new king of the Sorbet Kingdom and fights back against him. Um, God, this is this was an excellent chapter, setting up kind of this backstory with Kuma and Bonney and Ginny and everything. But at the same time, like, God, you really feel bad for Kuma. Like, of all the characters in One Piece, with, like, maybe the exception of like Brook, who had to witness his entire crew get slaughtered, then die last, then come back and see all his friends are dead, and then spend the next 50 years hanging out in a place where everyone that he cared about died. You know, maybe just short of Brook, Kuma's backstory, turned into a human weapon, not with his daughter, everything that happened, his race being just annihilated, him being captured, his family being persecuted. Like, he can't even really truly admit who or what he is, or, have a family with anyone, because he's afraid that he'll pass on, almost like an Attack on Titan, like, you'll pass on this demon blood and your children will pay for the sins of the father. Like, Kuma doesn't want that happening. And then, he tries to be this big old teddy bear and help everyone out. He tries to, save them. Then he's fighting for all these people around the globe to fight against oppression and everything like that. And it seems like every time he's trying to do something good and, help people out, like, life just throws another curveball at him and is just trying to kick him while he's down. But Kuma, he continues to persevere. He survived. you know, he's a little different than he was at the beginning of the story, but I don't know. I still am holding out hope that there's going to be some way, shape, or form that we will be able to get the old Kuma back. I don't know whether it's Bonney's power regressing him back to a point before he had his all his emotions taken out, or maybe somebody else's power, who knows, like maybe a power we haven't seen yet that will be able to be used, to fix Kuma or to undo what has been previously thought to be permanent. But anyways, we got a break next week, so definitely make sure to drop a comment. Let me know what you guys thought about this chapter. What was your favorite part of this chapter? I know my highlight was definitely the little Bonnie, flying the bird at people. That was awesome. Two thumbs up, Oda. And yeah, everyone have a wonderful day.